Hey, it's Ethan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2018 Ford Escape. This is going to be the Destination E, and it's going to be used specifically for e-bike purposes. It has a ramp that comes with it. It's going to be able to support up to 70 pounds per bike. We're going to be making frame contact though, and that's how it's going to be primarily held. These rotating padded clamps on our center mast. They do also have a lock core on there. So if we want to secure our bike to the rack, we can. Select that up and we won't be able to turn this and get our bike removed. It's also held by 3 straps down at the bottom, 1 on the back tire and 2 on the front. One really nice thing about this rack right off the gate is the fact that it does have the ability to tilt away with the bike loaded up, and it tilts super aggressively. So to do that, we're going to have to loosen up this gray hand knob back here until it gets to the point where we can push it forward, just like that. And now I like to hold on to the back of the center mast here, and it does a lot of the work for you, so you don't have to like hold 2 heavy or 70-pound bikes. You can just slowly guide it down, and once it's there, we have tons of room back here. Plenty of clearance from the rack, and because it folds so far away, we have tons of room back here. If I wanted to, I could stop, sit, change my shoes before or after my ride, and now is a great opportunity to get things out of the back that we might need for our ride once we get there. But we can get that closed up and tilt this back up as well. You can do this from the front or the back, depending on how much weight you have loaded up. Just rest it right there again, and then we'll have to rethread this hand knob. Once that's tightened up, we can start working on getting our bike removed, which is where the ramp comes in. So it's not integrated on the rack. You will have to remember to bring it and store it somewhere and then be able to use it once you get there. Also, another unfortunate thing is that we can only put it on the back here or the front over there. So for the case of our shop, I can put it in, but it's not going to do us much good because I have to roll it out to this side. So it's just going to show you how it works for demonstration, and that's something you're going to want to keep in mind as far as where you're going to park once you arrive to where you're going, if you do need help getting the bikes loaded and unloaded. But for now, we'll just get these straps undone, starting with this gray one right here. Let's press that gray release and pull this out. I like to tuck the straps out of the way, especially helpful if you're going to be rolling it. You can also see that on the straps there are these rubber pads to protect the tire, which is just a nice additional feature. Get that one out of the way, and then we'll get this front one. And now we can come up to where we're being held by the frame. Loosen this knob up. Definitely hold on to the frame of your bike at this point because things will start to shift around. Loosen that up, get that out of the way. And now you could roll it off if you had the ramp. For me, I'm just going to lift it, especially because this isn't an e-bike. But if you do, again, have that heavy e-bike and you parked accordingly, you can use the ramp to get it down at that point. With the bike removed, we can talk about the trays and the cradle once we get this center mast folded down. But we'll put these straps back away first. These front cradles are able to support a tire width of up to 4.5 inches. And because of the shape of the rack, it does accommodate a wheelbase of up to 50 inches. Now we can get that center mast folded down before we get to that strap on the other side. Starting with these rubber straps, just pull those off. And we'll pull these levers down as well. And that should allow us to fold our center mast down. Get that cradle. And we'll replace these. And again, get those straps put in as well. Just fold them up and loop that strap around. Come around to the other side now and replace that last strap here in the back, and we can get some measurements to see what it's like to add this onto the vehicle. So with that center mast folded down, we are going to be adding onto that length a little bit. I'll get a measurement so we can see exactly how much. So from the bumper to the furthest point back, it's going to be about 39 inches, so it is a little bit bulky, and it does stick out a good way from the back of our vehicle. Because of how the rack is designed, our ground clearance is actually going to be closer to the side. That's going to come in at close to 16 inches. We have a decent rise. I'm not going to be worried about making contact with hills or going over curbs, anything like that. We can fold the rack up to save a little bit of that space, so if we wanted to. We'll first have to start by removing this clip, as well as this pin. Might have to lift up on the rack just a little bit to get that out. Make sure that clip gets out of the way, and now we can fold it up and replace the pin and clip. So, fold it towards the vehicle, come back down here, find where these holes line up on the shank. Again, we might have to wiggle the rack a little bit to get that in, and now we can get that new measurement. So, now from the bumper to our furthest point back, it's going to be closer to 13 inches. So with it folded up, we do save a ton of space that way. But now we're obstructing a lot of things on the back of our vehicle if we want to take a look and see what that seems like. So from the front, we're going to be blocking a good amount of our license plate. There are definitely windows that you're going to be able to see through there, but it is going to be partially obstructed from a bunch of different angles. Our backup camera is right here in the middle, so kind of same thing. You'll have little windows where you can see through, but it's definitely going to be pretty heavily obstructed. It does come up a little bit. I don't think it's going to interfere a ton with our taillights. You might be able to get a little bit of obstruction from straight on. And the very top of the center mast might just be visible out of your rear window, but not a ton. I'm not going to be super worried about that either. As far as the shank goes for our rack, it does have a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver tube. It's held in place with this pin and the lock that's going to be key-to-like to those frame locks we talked about earlier. It's also got a welded collar on there, so it just makes it easy to line those up. It's all secured by this hand threadable anti-rattle handle here in the back to tighten everything down. So it's tool-free, pretty easy to get in. It's a little heavy though. So if you are looking for a way to transport some of your heavier bikes, maybe you need a little bit of help loading and unloading them, I do like the ramp. I don't love the fact that you have to remember to bring it, so if you need a little help, you might want to check out something like the Yakima on-ramp. It's another bike rack with a ramp, but the ramp is integrated onto the rack. But if you do like this rack because of that weight capacity, that tilt, super aggressive, and just the overall build quality, I still think that the Hollywood Rack's Destination E is a great choice. This was just a quick look at how it fits on a 2018 Ford Escape.